there is a phenomenon that is known. People, basically astronauts, and of course, in more recent time, some average people who had enough money to be able to get into outer space. But there's a known phenomenon of people who have gone into space and have been able to view the Earth from that vantage point. And it's referred to as the overview effect. And it's a pretty common experience among people who have done this. And so what happens is that there is an emotional or a psychological experience of those people who've gone and they've been able to have that experience of the Earth. And so some of the common experiences that are talked about is a renewed or just a deep appreciation and perception of beauty of what they are looking at. Because of course, that's not a perspective that we're able to see our Earth from. We're on it, we're in it. And, we are the tree among the forest, but not seeing the forest, you could say. There is oftentimes an unexpected and possibly overwhelming emotional experience that arose. I don't know if you saw any of the recent stuff in the last several years, but William Shatner was doing interviews and was very emotional about sharing his experience as well. And so there also can be an increased sense of connection to other people on the Earth. But one of the common features of this experience is a state of awe with this self-transcendent kind of quality, that there's sort of just this magical space that opens that is beyond the experience of what they have ever imagined the life to be, the Earth to be, themselves to be, that opens into this. And so I share this idea with you because, of course, it's a humanized experience, as all of them can be humanized, but there's this space that's kind of in reference to like, wow, I'm seeing this larger perspective of the Earth as being this sort of marble floating in darkness and thinking like, wow, I came from there, I'm going back there. There are all these people, like what a different way of seeing and perceiving that. And so in a sense, the core idea of the process of spiritual awakening is also inviting us to step into this new self-transcendental relationship with ourself, with reality, with the world, that we are shifting perspectives and finding new ways to experience the reality that we have assumed to be true. And in the same way that the astronaut was limited by their idea of being the person walking around on Earth, and then suddenly having this perspective of like, I am witnessing this entire Earth that I was but a mere speck on, not to even be seen from this vantage point, that we begin as we are unfolding the spiritual process. We might have little tastes here and there, but there's oftentimes sort of a progressive expansion of this awareness on the spiritual path that invites us to have this very different experience of ourself, who we are, what we are, and what the nature of our experience is through Earth and the realms beyond just the physical as well. So we come to see and experience a version of self and reality that's much bigger and also much simpler, actually, than what we've previously imagined. The stories, the complicated things that our mind tells us about what's true, what's reality, all sort of fall away in that moment of just expansive awe and wonder, where you're just fully being in the presence of what's happening and witnessing the experience that's unfolding in front of your eyes with a very different understanding of what it means. And so in the way that those going into space and physically viewing the Earth have a new perspective on what matters and their relationship to life, the expansion of spiritual awareness creates a new relationship with everything, a freedom, an awe, a love, a wonder that transcends, and it also includes the experiences of life at the same time. It is beyond them, but also inclusive of them. There's a wholeness that's woven into the expansive awe and the experience of the mundane. At least that is the tantric way of seeing things as well, where we're actually weaving our spiritual experience into the experience of life, having the deeper truth, the deeper transcendent truth revealed within the experience of life, rather than some paths that focus kind of on leaving the physical world to try to get to something that is more expansive and more transcendent. We want it all to kind of come together. And so what I learned from my teacher when he unfolded a deeper truth for me, and what I'm sharing with you and inviting you, is that one of the things that's truly important, at least in a more traditional, more quote unquote authentic kind of spiritual path, is that we are questioning who we are, our relationship to life, our relationship to the world, our relationship to the universe. We're questioning even where we are and starting to redefine the perspective as it unfolds. And of course, there are teachings that kind of point us in the direction of what we will discover when we get off the plane at the end of the ride. But for now, just the invitation of sitting kind of with where you are right now, where you've been on your path, what you've been exploring, what have been the motivations, what has been up to this point your version of what else is possible, or how is this possible? And what are the kinds of questions and the motivations that you have on your path? Like, what brought you here? And so why this matters to us, if we're sincerely interested in the spiritual path, is that we are going to want to begin, if we haven't already, really focusing on some of the questions of, like, what's the nature of my true self? What is the actual experience of my true self? Beyond what I have imagined my limited earth self to be. Like, what's the expanded version of that, the bigger vision and the bigger experience of my true self? What does spiritual awakening or deeper self-awareness actually bring to us? And why are we seeking it to begin with? There's a reason that we're motivated to do it. Where is it actually taking us? Why are we motivated to do it? And much like myself in my early days, I had no idea that I was on a spiritual path or where it was going. And so it's not wrong or right to have never asked the question or thought about it, but you may have already thought about it as well. Like, what does spiritual awakening, what is it? And the deeper awareness that it brings to us, and why are we seeking it? And so, are we exploring spirituality to expand our awareness in ourself and reality, which is more of the traditional way of seeing it, to really rediscover the direct experience of our true self and the nature of reality? Are we trying to transcend into a bigger experience beyond the limited idea of the self, the person that we have known ourselves to be in the world? Or have we been exploring spirituality with more of a focus on personal healing, which I certainly did for a long time myself? And there's nothing wrong with that either. Even once you get the big picture idea, there's still a lot that can be done beneficial with personal healing and personal transformation, that actually they weave together. There's a process that happens where they connect together, and the personal healing supports the expansion of spiritual awareness as well.